must use the force. You 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 must use the force.
You must use the force. Time ago, far, far away. Long time ago, far, far away.
Kiss a Wookiee, kick a droid, fly the Falcon through an asteroid till the princess is annoyed. This is spaceships, it's monsters, it's Star Wars, we love it, come and help me, Obi-Wan. X-Wing fighter and the blaster gun, dance with Ewoks, so what fun. This is spaceships, it's monsters, it's Star Wars, we love it. Get in there, you big furry oaf. I couldn't care less what you smell. I take orders from only me. Maybe you'd like it back in your cell, your highness, your worshipfulness, your highness, your worshipfulness.
No one cares if you upset a droid.
Nobody cares if you
That's
upset a
because
droid.
droids don't tear your arms out of sockets.
Nobody cares, I suggest a new strategy. Let the
A couple of weeks ago now, as I've been a little late getting this recorded, I posted a screenshot of my current desktop on Facebook. Well, I had several questions from people in comments. Anyway, so I had several questions from people saying, so how do I do that with my computer? And I said my simple answer was just download Linux. And got into a discussion with one person about a few things, but I'm going to give you a tour of my desktop here and my environment while I talk about this. So we're going to go up to the right over by the butterfly. This is my first widget I have up here. It is a calendar and a weather station all in one. It gives me the output of the weather. If you notice, it is in Celsius. It's just because I prefer that better. But it shows me my day-to-day calendars. And then my month-to-month calendar over here. Right up here's a little timer. I don't use it, but I'm sure at some point I will find a use for it. My comics widget. Yeah. Down here in the lower left-hand corner is my CPU monitors. Right now you're seeing, it'll tell you I'm running KDE, excuse my phone. Running Ubuntu with KDE, commonly referred to as Kubuntu. You can see my 4-core processor, the temperature it's running, and it's running a little warmer right now just because I'm doing a video capture, an audio capture, and a screen capture all in the highest quality possible. You can see the amount of memory I have installed, what is used, what is free. I'm not using any of my 2 gig swap. And that right there, I come down here a little bit more, up pops up my dock. And this is what got a lot of people. You can see my Firefox, my folders, my chat program, my console. I always have a terminal window going. A lot of people get confused by the terminals. Terminals are really nice to have. Instead of running updates that through the system, I can just tell the system to check for updates and then run upgrades. I can do distribution upgrades, everything like that. Other things I can do is I can just run, if I'm testing code, I can get into a Python shell natively, and I can just, if I'm testing a line of code, I can just type it in there. And let's see here, print. and it just prints hello world right back to you. So I can test a line of code there if I'm wanting to. Oops, forgot everything's got to have parentheses there. So there's my console over here. That's GIMP. It's stands for generic. I knew I'd forget this. Anyway, it's just like Photoshop, but only free. In fact, it's in some ways could be more powerful than Photoshop if you know what you're doing. Over here's Audacity. That's my recording program for sound. If I just want to set up a sound profile, this right here is the it's called OSB. It's the program that I'm using to actually screen capture everything, and you can see everything down here. So let me get that back out of the way. So people get confused about Linux. They go, I don't understand it. It's not Windows, and I don't know what to do. Or, because Windows does come fairly configured for you the way they want you to run it. But my biggest complaint about Windows, besides how locked down the system is and configurable, is the fact that if you've ever read your EULA, you don't actually own Windows. And Windows reserves the right at any time to do anything to your operating system that they want. If you go back and if you run a firewall software, if you check, no matter what, those kernels, Win32 kernels, always can get through your firewall. That's why you always have Windows bugging you for updates, for unnecessary updates, even if you've got your firewall locked down completely. Linux, on the other hand, is entirely yours from the moment you install it. You can configure it. You can do anything you want with it. Let me give you a little rundown on the desktop here. I can right-click. I can configure my desktop. Got all my wallpapers in here. I can just have them pop up and down. They also have the ability to pull in a picture of the day, and you can get a picture of the day from Bing, from Earth Science Picture of the Day, Flickr, National Geographic, NOAA, or Wikimedia Pictures of the Day. Most of the time I have this set on either just my standard butterfly background, or I'll set it on the Earth Science Picture of the Day. Everybody goes, well, where the heck are my programs? Well, it's just like Windows. You have a button. It's not called Start. You don't click on Start to finish or anything like that. If you'll notice, my bar is up at the top. It doesn't need to be. It can be moved down. You can set it down on the bottom where Windows traditionally is. You can put them on the left, the right. The only reason it's up there is because I have my dock down here with the majority of the programs I use, and go from there. But I can come up here and I click up here, and it has my favorites that are all listed right in here. Firefox, my web browser, Contact, which I don't use, Kate, it's a text editor, kind of like Notepad, LibreOffice, Dolphin's my file manager, well, one of them. I also run Nautilus. Systems Guard is your systems monitor, like your task manager in Windows. It'll tell you everything that's running, what's going on. It'll show you system load. This is where if you have a program that's not running, that's just kind of crashing, you can kill it, but that's very rare in Linux. Most everything runs, or Linux is smart enough to generally kill it itself. If I click over here, you can see the processor load in a more graphical way, and the way that's going on. You can also see my network traffic that's spiking up and down. Applications, all of your programs that are installed are in here. If you run Chromium, you can access Google Keep, Notes and List, Google Play Music. The development, if you build stuff, you can do web development, which has my web builders down in there. Your Makes, your Cuttlefish, which is pretty cool. Scratch, if you're learning programming, it can help you. Not everybody's going to need it, but Linux has a wide variety of programs. Education in here, I have a really cool thing in science. I have my satellite trackers, resistors, and then I have K-Stars, which is an absolutely cool program. And will show me the position of stars at night. So I take my telescope outside and I can get all my coordinates off of this, and I can point my telescope to where I'm going. So the moon is not right here. Mercury and Mars are not right here. I had to forward this in time because it's the middle of daytime right now. But it's a really cool program. The majority of things on Linux are free, open source, or free for you to use, as long as you're not using them to make money, depending on what's going on. There's more stuff in here, graphics, generic image manipulation program. That's my GIMP. Gwenview is like your default picture viewer, vector graphics editor, digital painting. Blender is a really cool 3D modeler if you like to do 3D building. Ocular is just a document viewer that you can view PDFs. LibreOffice Draw is my scanning program. Everything works with my wireless printer scanner. And then all your settings. I mean, you can configure tons of settings. I'm not even going to go into there. And then different utilities that you have installed that you can look at there, or that you can use to modify stuff. I also have the Planck dock installed, but I don't like it as much as I like the Latte. Down here is my Terminator, or right here is my VirtualBox if I'm running a different operating system, or let's say I'm writing an app for Android, or what I'm going to start doing soon is learning to write skills for Alexa, that I can load my operating system that I'm using in a VirtualBox. That's pretty much the system here. I know you don't see a startup or a shutdown. It's because it's not here. I have run commands, system settings, info center will tell me about different things, all the different places in here. I have a history file which will show everything. So if I have something that I can't remember what it was called, I can just grab it. And then over here's my leave. I can lock my system, I can log out, I can switch my user, I can suspend it, which I don't like to do. I can reboot and I shut down. That's where it's all located there. Again, you don't click on start to go home anymore. Not with Linux anyway. That's pretty much that. All these things right over here are called widgets. If I want to bring in a widget, I can add widgets and come over here. And if there's not one here that I know, or that I can find that I like, I can come down here. And that heavy breathing you hear down here is my dog. And I can search for it online, or I can find a third-party source, find it, and install it. One of the things I do like about here, that if I want to use, hang on, let me get this, there we go, is it's a container folder right here. Let's drop that onto here. Right now this shows the folders that are available on the desktop, but you can easily come down here to settings, point it to home, which is what Linux considers your home folder, and let's just set it up right here for the moment. And now I have access to all of my files right here on the desktop without having to clutter my desktop with a ton of links and files and folders and all of that. Personally, I don't even like that much clutter on here. I have a lot of things that are cluttered. It's too cluttered as it is. I'll probably get rid of the systems monitor. In fact, let's just get rid of the systems monitor right now. So that's gone. That's why this auto hides. But that's my system.